You know, deep inside India's financial system, there's this hidden debt crisis that's putting millions of people at risk. But here's the interesting part. The solution isn't coming from the top down, from some big government agency. Nope. It's a story about a critical debt blackout and the community that decided to build its own fix. Let's get into it.
So let's start with a really simple question. How much debt is too much for one person? I mean, think about it. For a lender, that question is, well, it's everything. It's the razor-thin line between helping someone build a business and, accidentally pushing them into a devastating debt trap. But what happens if you can't actually get a real answer to that question? What if you can only see a tiny piece of the puzzle? Okay, let's make this real. Imagine you're the lender. A guy named Arun Kumar comes to you asking for a small loan. He seems like a perfectly good candidate. But here's the catch, the big problem. You have a massive blind spot. See, two other not-for-profit lenders have already given him loans, but because of a glitch in the system, they aren't required to report that data to the main credit bureaus, so their information is totally invisible. You have no way of knowing he's already in debt. So what do? Do you approve the loan and risk pushing him and your institution over the edge? And Arun's case, well, it's not some rare, isolated incident. Far from it. It's really a symptom of a massive systemic problem. We're talking about hundreds of not-for-profit microfinance institutions, or NPO MFIs, who are all essentially flying blind. They're trying to do good, but they literally cannot see the full financial picture of the very people they're trying to help. And, the crazy part is, it wasn't always like this. There was a time when things made sense. All lenders, including the nonprofits, contributed to a central credit database. You had full visibility. But then a regulatory shift happened, and these not-for-profit lenders were suddenly just cut out of the system. They couldn't upload their loan data anymore, and just as importantly, they couldn't access the complete picture from everyone else. A whole crucial stream of information, poof, it just went dark. And the consequence of that? It's a huge, hidden risk, simmering just below the surface. Think about it. When one lender has no idea what another one is doing, it becomes dangerously easy to give way too much credit to a single person. And that doesn't just put the borrower in serious jeopardy, it actually threatens the stability of the entire social finance ecosystem. But here's where the story takes a turn. In response to this crisis, a really clever solution has started to emerge. And this is the cool part. It's not from the government, it's not from some big corporate bank. It's a genuine, innovative fix built by the community, for the community, designed to turn the lights back on. It's called the MFI Credit Registry, or MCR for short. Now, what's so brilliant about this is its elegant simplicity. It's basically a dedicated non-government database where all these NPO MFIs can voluntarily pool their lending data. They're creating the shared repository that the official system no longer provides for them. Simple but powerful. Okay, so how does this thing actually fix the problem? Well, the beauty of the MCR is how it takes these two separate, messy streams of information and merges them into one single, clear river of data, giving a complete picture of a borrower's total debt. It's a really straightforward three-step process. First, the not-for-profit lenders securely upload their loan data to the MCR. Simple enough. Second, the MCR platform goes out and pulls the standard report from the official credit bureaus, the one with all the bank loans and other formal credit. And then, for the final step, it just merges them. It gives the lender one single consolidated report. And just like that, the blind spot is gone. Now, of course, whenever you're dealing with sensitive financial data, security has to be absolutely rock solid. And the MCR is built with exactly that in mind. We're talking enterprise-grade security. All the data is end-to-end encrypted. A borrower has to give their explicit consent with a one-time password before their data can even be looked at. Plus, the whole system is fully compliant with India's really strict data privacy laws, and it gets regular independent audits. So yeah, they've buttoned this down tight. But, and this is a really crucial point, this brilliant piece of technology is only half the solution. See, the MCR is just a tool. Its real power, its real value, doesn't come from the code. It comes from the community that actually uses it. It all comes down to participation. Okay, so let's look at what happens if only a handful of these NPOs actually participate. If you only get, say, 15% of the NPO debt visible in the registry, then a whopping 85% is still a hidden risk. Lenders are still mostly in the dark, and that danger of overlending, it's still dangerously high. Basically, the whole system fails. But now, look what happens with high participation. Let's say we get 90% of the NPOs on board. The entire picture flips completely. That hidden risk shrinks all the way down to just 10%. And suddenly, the data is reliable,
the system is transparent, and lenders can finally make truly responsible decisions.
And this right here is really the key takeaway of this whole thing. The MCR is what you'd call a collective action solution. Its success hinges entirely on the community's willingness to trust each other and to share their data for the greater good, the good of protecting their borrowers and, ultimately, protecting themselves. So when that collective action actually happens, when everyone gets on board, the payoff is just immense. A successful, widely adopted MCR doesn't just solve a data problem. It literally secures the very foundation of social finance in India for the future.
I mean, think about what happens when the system really works. It stops that dangerous cycle of overlending in its tracks. It protects vulnerable borrowers, people like Arun, from taking on debt they can never hope to repay. And naturally, this reduces defaults and delinquencies across the entire ecosystem because now everybody is working with better information. It just builds a more stable and sustainable future for everyone involved.
And there's also this really powerful psychological effect, which is fascinating. As one person involved in the project put it, once borrowers know that their loan information is visible to other banks and lenders, well, the fear that was there before will be restored. That discipline, that conscious effort that borrowers used to make for paying on time, that doesn't go away. It reintroduces a level of accountability that was completely lost during that data blackout.
So it leaves us with this final thought, this question. The MFI Credit Registry really shows us that sometimes the most powerful solutions aren't these huge top-down mandates from the government. Sometimes they're bottom-up innovations built on trust and collective action. And that's a really powerful model for solving complex problems, not just in finance, but really anywhere that shared information is the key to building a healthier, more stable system.